I'm not going to say anything. You got to do it all.
You go ahead.
We're live. Hello and welcome. As you can see, I've improved this week's Tuesday tune-in. So recently we've been doing a lot of like bringing in props, bringing in sets, and then we thought to myself, how can we make it like that extra bit better? So we've removed Andy from the equation and brought in Jody, who's going to be talking about an upcoming trip that she's got planned for Kilimanjaro. So yeah, welcome to today's live all about trip prep. Who's going to be first on the comments? Anthony Christian. How's it going, my friend? Richard Johnston. He's never doing anything but on our lives. He loves it. Anyone else? Yeah, feel free to drop a message in the comments. And Jimbo Blues, he's a regular. All these are going to be new to you, aren't they?
I've seen them all.
Actually, no, yeah. I keep forgetting that although you're not like here, you're often there.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the other side, yeah.
Awesome. Right at the start of the show as well, we'll mention that we do have our competition, our Kilimanjaro competition launch. So one of the guys, who's on there? Vicky?
Vicky's on today.
Vicky's on the phones today. So yeah, Vic, if you can drop a link in the comments and get yourself entered. Yeah.
Trip to Kitty, which is the trip that I'll be doing in October as well.
That's a good point. So if they win, they could jump on your trip.
They could.
Yeah.
Welcome to.
Yeah, it's you and Zachariah are going.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, welcome Jerome, welcome Pritesh, welcome Stuart, welcome Bry. Yeah, Andy has got a prior arrangement today, so he's heading out of the office for a little bit. Yeah, where should we start then, Joe?
Where do you want to start? You're the expert, you.
Don't say that. We don't want to start spreading. Sophie Hurst, welcome to the live. I don't think we've had you on the live for a little while, have we? Sophie, where have you been? She travels a lot. And what is going on here?
It's Dave Lauder.
Can we not hear Jody as well? Try that. Yeah, we've actually got a producer now as well, also known as Zach the Singing Yeti. But yeah, awesome. So trip prep, Jode.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start at the very beginning then. So this is your first time?
Yep, first time at altitude.
First time at altitude. What's the highest you've ever been before?
I don't know.
Henavan?
Probably something along those lines.
Yeah. And so this is first time at altitude, Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
So why did you pick Kili then? Because you could have gone on any single trip. You could have gone to EBC. What drew you to Kilimanjaro? What was the thought process?
It's one of the big ones, isn't it? It's one of the main sort of summit, and the summit part of it, I think, really drew me to it as well. It's like that sort of destination thing. But yeah, I've heard, we get loads of feedback as well, especially by the guides, actually. I'm really looking forward to meeting the guides up there.
Yeah.
We get loads of positive feedback about the guides and how fun it is during and after the trek when you have your little drinks and a dance as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Jerome is saying to get closer to the mic, but I think what I'm going to do is move the mic closer to you.
Can everyone hear me?
Hopefully they can hear you now, and they don't need to hear me. I say the same rubbish every week. Awesome. Yeah, so that is interesting because that's one of the things I was talking to Jen about it as well previously, why she chose Tukal. And there is that sort of mindset between two different people that sometimes people want to do a journey and sometimes people want to reach a goal.
Yeah.
And sometimes Everest Base Camp can be the goal, but Everest Base Camp is really an excuse to trek in the Himalaya for 11 days.
Yeah.
It's not as profound as reaching the summit of a mountain.
Yeah.
Jen's the same as you. She wants to reach a summit, wants a clear set goal.
Yeah.
I think it'd work really well for you. You do lots of running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many marathons have you run?
No, only two.
Only two marathons, yeah. Well, I've run one.
Yeah.
In 2 halves. I did 2 halves. 2 weeks
I was going to say you kept that quiet. Nobody ever keeps quiet about running a marathon.
No. You have to tell as many people as you can. Yeah. No. I ran a half, and then there was quite a gap. Then I ran a second half. But overall,
still impressive.
Overall, still a marathon.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you I'm potentially climbing Canada's highest mountain in 2025. Awesome, Lee. What's the name of that mountain, mate? I can't pull it from the back of my mind, but let us know. So you decided you were going to do Kili. Once you've decided that, what was the first thing you thought about, though? you want to prepare for? What was the biggest sort of, I got to make sure I'm good for this? Or was it the altitude? Was it like just the climbing for 7 days? Or
To be honest, I do quite a lot of training, so I wasn't too worried about sort of fitness wise, because I know I can just step that up when I need to if I'm sort of preparing for something. But kit and things like that, I was a bit more worried about. Because it's my first time at altitude, not sure sort of what to expect.
Yeah.
I think that was the main sort of worry. And to be honest, me and Zach talked about this a little while ago, and then it's just come around so quick. It's only 4 months away now. And I didn't realise until the other day, and I was like, I should actually start prepping for this.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, kit is a big one. I think it's probably my biggest concern the first time I ever did a trip was because I tend to be preoccupied with like the equipment and things like that, because I find it fun to buy. So I'm a little bit like, what do I need? What do I not want to forget that's going to like massively let me down? Yeah. What's amazing though is the first time I ever did EBC, I didn't even bring a duffel bag. I got it all into a 70-litre rucksack and like didn't want for anything. Now I've got a 120-litre duffel and I'm still thinking, God, I wish I could bring this. So actually it's fine. What do you think about so one of the biggest things so before I did Killy for the first time, see, I think I was all right with kit, but then I'd done a few trips before.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest one was the altitude profile of the mountain is quite hardcore in some days.
Yeah.
And then also the night hiking.
Yeah.
Which I've done before, but what do you think about that? I try not to talk about it too much because I know some people on here like Jerome, he's done Killy. A few other guys I've watched have done Killy, and it's one of those where it's all about summit night.
Yeah, and I've heard the horror stories about it. But, No, I like a challenge. So we've actually spoken about this with me and Zach. I think you might join us as well. We're talking about maybe doing a night hike as well in prep.
Yeah.
I've got my head torch. That is one piece of kit I have.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. I'm an early person. I know it's super, super early.
Early, it's almost late.
Yeah. But I'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, that's the best attitude to go into it. I genuinely believe when it comes to stuff like that, aside from doing a few night hikes, unless you're going to really put yourself off, it's best to go into it with a degree of ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, you've got to be positive as well, haven't you? Because if you go into it thinking, oh, I'm never going to do this, or it's going to be too difficult, then it's just you're setting yourself up for failure as well.
Yeah, I do think a night hike is a really good idea, though.
Yeah,
because
we'll definitely get that booked in.
It really does help to kind of just adjust the mind, because it is very different. Sometimes people think it's amazing, other times people can think it's a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
when you wake up super late and you're walking with just the cone of your head torch in front of you, so you don't have like, it's strange in your mind. You can feel, some people feel almost like claustrophobic by the night because you can't see your surrounding peaks, you can't see very far in front of you or behind you, so it all feels a little bit more intense.
Yeah, I've got a lot of sort of what's the word, faith in the guides as well, obviously, with that sort of things. So, and I would like to have a little go. I have never used a head torch. I've never felt the need to use one. So, have a little go of that. Hopefully we'll get that booked in. And
trekking poles?
That is something that I was going to speak to you about, actually, whether you would recommend it or not. It's not something I've used again. Never needed it for pen of that.
No.
But maybe.
I 100% recommend them.
Yeah.
This is one of the big parts about sort of trip preparation, one of the ways that I always kind of prepare. So round about now, if I were you, I would make a list.
I've got one on my phone.
Of everything that you're going to need, including stuff that you might not bring. So my list, generally, I'll start like 4 or 5 months before. And I do this every single trip, so I don't actually... Andrew's just asked, where's the main man? And he's sat right here. Weird. I make a list of everything, even stuff I don't need. Like it's 100%, 105% even, like comprehensively, just sort of everything. And then I'll kind of whittle that down to sort of the most important points. and then kind of stuff that's kind of like you may need or you may not need.
Yeah.
And then right at the very bottom, I'll put like, blow up pillow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I forget that every single time. And
Yeah.
I always make do with just a rucksack and a fleece over it or something. But it does make, sleep, although for some people, like, it's really important. And it's really important for everybody. But for some people, when they're on a trip, if they don't get a good night's sleep, they can't function very well.
Yeah.
I think I'm relatively adjusted now to function, to walking when I'm tired.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, things like sleeping, like nice sleeping bag, pillows.
I did see about earplugs as well. Is that
Absolutely crucial. If you're sharing a tent with a snorer on Killy, it can be an absolute game changer. But poles, getting back to poles, super important actually in terms of just making sure that you're giving your body like every little thing you can to be able to do the trip as comfortably as you can. So the biggest thing that you'll need poles for, in my opinion, is not necessarily the up climbs, although they are really, really important. It's more the down, particularly the last day of Killy.
Yeah.
So as you're coming down from the summit, and then the next day, which you go down to the gate, is so slippery and crazy. So putting the poles down, extending them a little bit longer, and using them out in front of you. Just stop slipping.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do on the way down from Killy is like slip, twist a knee, twist an ankle, and then before you know it, then it's just an absolute sort of nightmarishly difficult task to get down.
I guess anything that sort of saves your knees a bit as well. If you if you can help yourself in any way like that, it's definitely worth doing. I've obviously just come back from injury as well.
Yeah.
So I know how important it is to make sure that you're well equipped.
No, 100%. Especially if you've got a dodgy knee, in any respect, the poles will help.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of different stats and stuff like that, but I think that they mainly take 20 to 30% of the pressure off your knees going downhill. Uphill, I don't really think they make much of a difference to my knees, but they do help by taking some pressure off your muscles, because you get your arms involved in the actual process of climbing.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, as your right leg goes forward, your left pole goes forward. So you're kind of oscillating like that. And you can really like dig them in and like pull with your arms.
Yeah.
You're not trying to pull your whole body weight up. You don't have to really consciously pull.
Yeah.
But just that action kind of like saves, you might not feel it on it. If you did one hill and it won't take you very long, you get at the top and you wonder what the difference is. But over a course of like 8 days, where you're climbing a lot every day, it really does make little differences.
Yeah.
And obviously everything on Killy is built into that one summit, right? So you want to make sure you're as fresh as possible. Let's have a look. So we got Andrea. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Tina. Tina said she's been anti-poles, but they have saved her twice when she's been exhausted. Yeah, 100%. You'll see a lot of people at high altitude like resting on their poles.
Yeah.
So they'll get to a point and they'll almost like lean on them. And and when you're thinking about what Tina said then, when you're really tired and you're going downhill and you have to hold yourself up without poles, it can be just horrendous. Horrendous.
I'll definitely be added to my list then.
100%. Any other kit questions that you've been thinking about?
I think Jerome, maybe last week spoke about ponchos as well. I was like, do I just get waterproofs? Do I get a poncho?
I think on Kilimanjaro, ponchos are very popular. You don't see them as much on other trips. Maybe in South America, they're a bit more popular again.
Yeah.
But in Nepal, Tupkal, you don't really see them.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they're so popular on Kilimanjaro, and you'll see lots of porters and guides wearing them.
Yeah.
One, you can get like big ones that kind of go over the rucksack as well, and you can put them on very quickly and take them off quickly.
Yeah.
And the second is because of the unique weather on Kilimanjaro. It's quite warm when you're Dave River did love a good poll. You've got to be careful when you like catch these comments from Dave, because they'll like throw you off. I think he does it deliberately, but it is funny. But so Killy, because it's quite warm, particularly in the lower altitudes, and then you've got this microclimate where it just suddenly starts raining. It's annoying if you've got to carry like your trousers and a waterproof jacket and stop and put them on, and then walk for an hour and then stop and take them off again. Also, you can get quite warm because it's not cold. At least not in the lower altitude, where it's more likely to rain. So literally having one of those ponchos just stuffed in the side of your bag, bit of rain, whip it out, put it on.
Yeah.
So
definitely have a look at
Yeah, 100%. I do think getting the reusable ones are a lot better as well.
Yeah.
If you used ones like you buy them for like £2.50.
Like you used to have in the theme park and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're designed for like to get you through like a little shower.
Yeah.
They're not really designed for hiking in for any great distance.
Yeah.
I tried one out as a little experiment on the Glencoe challenge when I knew it was going to rain.
Yeah.
It was rubbish.
No, not good.
Absolutely pants. Yeah. Oh, another one. We're going to get lots of things. By the way, if any of you guys have any questions, or if you want to share your experiences and any things that you think is like super valuable for Jody's prep on Kilimanjaro, then drop them in and we'll see what comes up. Will has said hot water bottle is a great idea to take if you have the space.
Mm-hmm.
What do you reckon? You reckon you bring a hot water bottle?
I probably will. Yeah.
You reckon? So what you can do, you can bring like a Nalgene bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've seen these, yeah.
And you can put like you can put hot water in those and then keep them.
Yeah.
They do get like they're not as insulated as the normal one, so you don't want to put it directly against your skin.
Yeah.
But I certainly know some people that like get one of those and then they'll put it in their sleeping bag before they go to bed, and then they go there like an hour or two later and it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't handle it.
No.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
It's not needed. Not needed.
No.
Yeah, Jerome's again at spend the cash on a decent poncho lifesaver. Yeah, I think the weather is tricky on Kili because you go through about 4 or 5 different like climate zones. So in the beginning it's almost like a jungle, and then you'll get to like scrubland, and then it's almost like a desert.
Yeah.
And then it's like the North Pole when you get on top. And on the way down, you pretty much get all of that within about 24 hours.
Yeah, because you more than one go.
Yeah. So another thing I was thinking that you might be able to share as well about trip prep, because one of the biggest questions we get about trip prep is about fitness and things like that. I think you're already fit enough, but that doesn't mean that because you've started running. How long have you been running for now?
Probably around 4-5 years.
Yeah. What were you like before you started running?
Absolutely unfit.
Yeah. So what do you reckon? What tips do you reckon you can share fitness wise for people that say they want to do Kili, but they're where you were perhaps 4 or 5 years ago, and you've just recently run a marathon. So if you want to get from sort of couch to your fitness level in preparation for a trip, what sort of tips and things do you think would be good?
Well, first of all, it's finding something you enjoy. Even if going out for hikes on the mountains, gym, swimming, anything really, whatever you enjoy, and then just trying to stick at that a couple of times a week. You can mix it up as well. I like to go to the gym, swim, and run in. So I think it is quite good actually to mix it up, especially injury wise. If you're doing too much of the same thing, you're sort of more prone to injuries as well. It's just about sort of finding what you enjoy and then trying to stick to some sort of routine with it. With what got me interested in the running club was the group aspect. I've joined a running club, so I went on like a sort of couch to 5K thing first, and then went on to the main group, and then we've done like all sorts of races together. It's a really nice sort of group environment. I've made loads of, amazing friends there, so that's really helped them as well. So I know they do sort of walking clubs or all sorts of different things as well, and they like groups in the gym. And
see, that's really good, because this is why I think it's good to get other people on and share, because I've never trained anything like that way. I think I've always chosen a miserable way, but because I've never really engaged in any type of training in like that's turned into a social aspect that I look forward to every week. Training for me has always been laborious.
Yeah.
It's always been something that I've had to force myself to do.
I think you have to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be like that.
No. I might join a running club.
You should.
I can't. My knee will burst. But it is amazing. Like, I think that is a really good way of looking at it, which is, if you build it into a routine.
Yeah.
And even if you don't overly enjoy the activity, you can get enjoyment out of it by making it like a social thing.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, yeah. Isn't it weird? Like, I never thought about that, actually, because I know there's a picture of your dog by you. Is that on screen as well? Yeah, I think if we got Jody, we've got Bertha as well.
Yeah.
What a Should
She comes everywhere with me.
say her name's Poppy.
It is Pop.
But it was Bertha.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get her from again?
She's a little rescue from Bosnia.
From Bosnia.
Mm.
So she's come from like war-torn Bosnia
Mm.
to the Rhondda.
Yeah.
Does she notice a big difference? Three. Yeah, awesome. So having a quick look here. So Stefan has said, let's see if I win. I don't want to be the first deaf person on Killy. Why, Stefan, are you deaf? Have we got subtitles on here?
Yeah, you did mention.
Oh, we did mention it. I was going to say, like, how would you know? But yeah, I think one of the good things about Facebook is it does that. But I have heard that some of the subtitles can be a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the odd word can come across differently. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what I can do. So yeah, sometimes, you know what I've never seen? I've never seen a duck clucking on any of my trips or anything like that. I don't think ducks cluck, do they? It would be a chicken that clucks, but I've never seen a chicken clucking around all the time. Do you reckon that's going to say anything on those subtitles?
No, I think
What?
it's perfect.
Do you reckon it's going to work?
Yeah.
Subtitles not working. I'll try lip reading. Oh wow, I'm going to have to look at the screen now. I wonder what he thought I was saying then. Yeah, so that's really interesting with regards to the fitness thing. So, like, I really like that idea you said about trying multi sports as well,
Yeah.
and so don't just run, but mix it up, maybe running, cycling,
Yeah.
swimming. I suppose that I was going to say I don't really do that, but then a couple of times I think I do, because I do mainly cycling and hiking, which are perhaps the only two things that I do. Cycling, mountain biking does cause me a lot of injuries, though, to be fair. So I think it's important to mix it up with the hiking.
Yeah.
But yeah, pheasant plucker, nice. Eric from Seattle, how's it going, Eric? Amazing, actually. Eric, Seattle, little fact there that Newport, where I'm from, is known as like UK Seattle,
Is it?
because we had a grunge music scene in sort of the 80s and 90s.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there is a rumor going around that Kurt Cobain proposed to
Yeah.
in a bar in Newport. So look that up.
Romantic.
Yeah, if you Google Kurt Cobain Newport, I'm pretty sure you'll see something about TJs. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, so we've covered fitness, we've covered equipment and things like that. Is there any other like concerns or worries? You asked me about something earlier, didn't you, which was about vaccinations and stuff like that.
Something I should really have top of my head.
Yeah.
Yes, I think again, me and Zach are going to have a little look into that as well. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the malaria and tablets, medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it's highly recommended. Then the others, isn't it? I think it's hepatitis A.
Yeah.
A few others. So I think we're going to just go and speak to Nomad Clinic.
Yeah.
And just see what the recommendations are. I'd probably get as much as they sort of highly recommend, because I want to be as safe as possible. But yeah.
Yeah, I often do that. So when I've gone there, I've pretty much got every vaccination, only because I just want to relax and not worry about certain things. So for me, it's like peace of mind, even if it does cost me like an extra £50 or whatever to get a couple more injections.
Yeah.
I'd be more inclined to do it. One of the things the guys have mentioned there as well, I can see Natalie McGregor asking about it as well. She's doing Killy in 3 weeks. Would you advise to get anything to sleep on? What's the best? So this is a really important one, which is I actually highly recommend if you're doing Kilimanjaro to get an inflatable sleeping mat. We do provide mats for you to sleep on, which are quite thin and quite firm. So certainly better than nothing. But after 8 days, you're going to get like sore hips and stuff like that. So bringing an inflatable one, again, just makes sleep become a little bit easier. It doesn't have to be a mega expensive one. I bought a Thermarest one, which is a mega expensive one. They're about £180 or something like that. But that's because I use it a lot.
Yeah.
And I use it a lot in like cold environments. So I wanted to get it. But if you haven't used one in the last few years and you're doing Killy and you don't think you'll be using it again for a while afterwards, just get the lightest one you can kind of afford. You don't. Some of them are like this big. You just want one that packs down quite light.
Yeah.
Another little top tip I really think is important is getting a pump for it. I didn't have a pump for mine, so having to blow it up manually using lung power, it gets increasingly harder. the higher you
I
get.
can't imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you get to around 5,000 meters, blowing that bad boy up takes it takes quite a few breaths and a little bit more than I wanted to kind of do. Stuart Taylor says he went to Nomad Clinic last week in London. So helpful when picking up Malarone, Diamox, wealth of knowledge. I think that is really important. What we were talking about earlier is you can go to your GP to get these vaccinations, but your GP is not going to be, or is unlikely to be, an expert in sort of high altitude trekking and climbing. So things like Diamox, they may even have to look up, and on there it'll just say what it's made for, which is not climbing.
Yeah.
So I've known a few people say that their doctors are actually reluctant to prescribe it to them. When you go to Nomad, you are speaking to people that know about high altitude, they know about Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro, a lot of them have actually done it. So in terms of providing Diamox, no issues at all. They'll just give it to you straight away.
Yeah.
With the anti-malarials as well, you do get a couple of choices. One of them is, I think it's called doxycycline, an antibiotic. I tried that one, and I've tried Malarone. I personally think Malarone is much better.
Yeah.
The doxycycline, it is an antibiotic, and I think they say you shouldn't take them unless you need it. But also, you've got to take it for a week before you go.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, and sometime after as well,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well, Malarone is a week after you. So I think 2 or 3 days before you go, double check this with Nomad. This is from my memory. The whole time you're there, and then a week after you come back, where if you take doxycycline, you have to take it for a month after you get back, which is a long time to be taking antibiotics. And it also says that you need to try and stay out of direct sunlight. In Africa, when it's like 35 degrees. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll apparently you just get more. I don't know what it does to your skin, but maybe it just absorbs more UV, so you get sunburnt a lot easier. Maybe a nurse could, a doctor could tell me how an antibiotic. Yeah. Ask them and get back to us and let us know. Awesome.
Diamox is something that I've been thinking about as well. Actually.
Yeah.
Because I know I said I wasn't too worried about other things, but the altitude, obviously never been at altitude. I'm not although I do a lot of running and things, I'm not taking it lightly that I can just easily go up. So yeah, it'll definitely be something I'll take with me. Whether I'll just wait to see how I am, it depends on how I'm.
Yeah. I mean, that is the question a lot of people have about Diamox, and it is a kind of a personal one, which is, do you take it before you go or right at the start and take it for the whole trip, or do you not take it and then if you start to feel unwell, then take it? So I've always done it the second way, only because I didn't want to take anything that I didn't need to take. So I kind of treat it like paracetamol or ibuprofen, which is that if I have a headache, or I start to feel unwell, I'll take one. But if and the same with Diamox. And I took Diamox on Kili.
Yeah. Never
needed it on EBC. 4 trips to EBC, 2 trips to Tukal, never used it once. And then when I was on Kilimanjaro, I got to Lava Tower. And I started feeling a bit woozy and a bit unwell. And I think in retrospect, I probably could have just carried on.
Yeah.
That's one thing, is that just because I felt like I had a headache and the altitude was getting to me, I didn't really feel terrible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, it's these trips are personally very important.
Yeah.
So I just thought why wouldn't I just try it and then ensure that I don't have a problem? So that's what I did. The important thing is that once you start taking it, you've got to keep taking it.
Right. Okay.
You can't really just take 1 or 2 to get you through the night and then carry on, because the next time you go higher, you'll be worse off.
Right.
So once you start taking it, it's important to keep taking it until you at least go up and then back down to the point where you started again.
Right, yeah.
Amy Theakston with some good advice there. An NHS GP can't prescribe Diamox, as she found out yesterday. It has to be a private prescription or buy it online, as long as it's approved by a Quality Care Commission. Interesting. I wonder why they can't prescribe it then. I wonder if it's because it's not its intended use.
Yeah.
It's for glaucoma and epilepsy, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, and Dave Remington says avoid Olarium. I think that's a slightly older anti-malarial drug that can cause massive psychosis.
Oh.
Like you've heard, I think they give it to pregnant women. That might be wrong. But I think if you're pregnant and you take Lariam, it's safer for the baby than other ones.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to stop now because I'm not 100% sure. It could,
Just-
it could be the other way around, that they don't give it to them and someone's going to hear this and be like totally safe. Either way.
You are not a doctor.
No, absolutely not. No. And but I think Lariam can cause PTSD and all sorts of issues. I think it's a bit weird. Yeah, awesome. So meds and stuff like that really important for Kili. I'm trying to think of anything else that's really important for Kilimanjaro that I took with me. Didn't power banks are really important?
Yes, I have had a look at that as well. Looked into it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I looked at now as well. On my little list.
Yeah. Should have put your list with you. We could have checked it through.
Yeah.
We could have checked it through. Everyone's talking about Lariam, hideous side effects, all sorts of badness. Amy, you can't get altitude sickness in the UK, so the NHS can't prescribe for this use.
Why.
Oh, amazing. I mean, it seems weird that they wouldn't prescribe it to you, even if you were going away to a place where you could get altitude sickness, because, we also don't get a lot of other diseases that we have to be vaccinated for, like yellow fever, perhaps. But yet they'll still give us that. Anyway, who knows? Perhaps it's expensive and not seen as a priority, which I completely understand, I guess. And I guess also it's not something you can bring back with you. That would be my issue. You can't bring altitude sickness back and spread it around. So it's not really in their interest to vaccinate you for it. Vaccinate you for altitude sickness. That'd be amazing. So I'm trying to think of other important things on Kilimanjaro that are kind of good to know. I think food-wise, we provide really, really good food. So there's.
I have heard.
Yeah, water is a good one. So Stuart Taylor has said, would you recommend taking water purification tabs for Kili, or is it supplied by the team safe? So it is provided by the team, so you don't have to bring any water purification tablets. I'll be honest with you, normally I've always got a pack in my bag anyway, just because of any type of emergency. It's not going to really happen on Kilimanjaro or any of our trips where you're guided and you've got support. But they'll provide it all for you. It's all completely safe. So no need to bring bottled water or purification tablets or anything like that. Jerome's got a good thing as well here, is get used to carrying a rucksack with some weight in it before you go, just to get the right adjustment. Yeah. You got a hiking rucksack.
Yeah, I bought before the training weekend last year. I bought, is it Osprey Tempest 20?
Yeah.
And I obviously used it on the training weekend, and I've used it a couple of times. But yeah, I do need to do that now. Have a little go at different hikes with some stuff in the bag. I've got my bladder as well.
Yeah.
I've got a few things, but I do need to just get out now and start actually picking up the important things like boots. But get some important.
Have you not got boots?
No.
Yeah, we'll look into that. So you definitely need trekking boots, things like trousers, or like lots of girls might trek in sort of leggings and stuff like that as well.
I've got some boots, but I'd like to buy some boots for.
Yeah, I think for Kilimanjaro as well, it's important to get some sort of. You don't want to get like summer lightweight boots, because it can be quite cold on the top.
Yeah.
So something like a leather boot or something like that is really good. But it doesn't have to be. There are other sort of non-leather options that you can have that are sort of mid-range boots.
Yeah.
I wore super lightweight ones onto Tukal, and it was really cold. And my feet were about as cold as I could handle before not continuing on. Yeah. So I just think Kili probably won't be that cold, because that was unusual circumstances. But at the same time, I think definitely going to want something to sort of keep you warmish. Yeah. Good socks, pants, bras.
I've got the merino socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got some things like that. I think I'm sorted in that area.
Yeah. Awesome. Sunscreen.
I'll have to get that.
Sunglasses.
I have got some, but sunglasses is a big one actually. That's on my list.
Super important.
I think I seen again Jerome. Saying about. I think he may have mentioned it in the group to somebody about the category D.
Yeah.
Sunglasses. So I'm definitely going to have a look into that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I also think a good hat.
Yeah.
Definitely going to need that. We've covered earplugs. These are all like the little important things that keep you going.
Yeah.
Another thing that a lot of people use is like energy gels and stuff like that.
Yes.
And snacks. Super important on Kilimanjaro because there's not many stalls like there is on, like not many tea houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do use some gels and some energy bars when with my running, especially for like longer distances. So I like the what are they called now?
Cliff bars.
Yeah, the Cliff bars. Yeah. But there's gels as well, but I can't remember for the like.
Is it like they do these SIS
I'm
science
not a big fan of them ones.
No.
They all taste sort of like licorice.
Yeah.
And I really don't like the taste. But there are some really nice ones as well. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I can't have the gels. They always make me feel a bit sick.
You've got to try them out definitely because they can really be like affect your stomach as well. So.
Yeah. Some people absolutely love them and swear by them.
Yeah.
And I think in a jam, they are really good. I remember when I was doing EDC with my old man, and on the last day he was severely lagging in energy, and found in my bag I had like a couple of these sachets, and he had them, and he's convinced that when he had nothing left in the tank, just having those like gels gave him just enough to kind of keep going.
Do you think it was a placebo, or do you think it was the gel?
To be honest, I don't know. I would say give the gels that credit. I would say they probably did do something.
I always think that when I'm running, like during the marathon, I'd take a gel and then instantly feel like loads better. And then I was like, oh, it's just in my head. Yeah.
It's probably a combination of both, isn't it? Like maybe you feel a little bit better, and then you think, oh god, that's amazing! I can't believe it's worked. Eric, lip balm. Killy roasted his lips. Super important.
I take a lip balm everywhere with me, especially in the sun.
Yeah, you see, I never really get like lip burn and stuff like that, but what I do get, particularly like on some of the flatter days, Killy's really dusty. So it's the dust and the wind that kind of just like peel my lips back. Marky V, good one. Nail clippers, always important. I think anytime you're doing a trip that's approaching sort of like 10 days or something like that, particularly for the downs. I've seen loads of people lose nails and stuff from walking down and stuff like that. One thing that's really helped with that as well, I think, is when you get your boots, like wear them, do enough tests that you're going up, down, and you're wearing them for some long days. When you're going down, I had it in a pair of boots I had before where my foot would slide and like touch the end. And I swapped the insoles out for the Super Feet Trailblazer insole, and that stopped happening. Like immediately my foot just stopped sliding.
Yeah.
What's really good about them as well is when your foot is sliding over the top of your the insole, you'll get hot spots, you get blisters and stuff like that. A really good one then is if that does start happening, it's a zinc oxide tape.
Right.
I think a lot of runners use this, where you just strap that over like your hot spots and stuff like that, and it'll really reduce the like blisters and help and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have you got any training hikes and stuff like that lined up, or is this something you and Zach got to kind of like get something in the diary?
Yeah, we actually, as I said earlier, I didn't realize how close it was, and then I was like, oh, it is a few months away. But I'm away for a few days now, but we did mention quite soon going out for a few hikes on the weekends.
Yeah.
Definitely. We'll get that night hike booked in as well.
Yeah.
At some point. But we can just do a regular thing, can't we?
Yeah, 100%. I think 3 months before any trip is a good time to start like doing some sort of intensive training.
Yeah.
It seems to be like it takes me about 3 months to kind of get a noticeable difference in fitness. Anything less than 3 months, and I think I've undertrained. Anything over, like I'm not saying you don't have to start to 3 months, but I think if you start like quite intensive training, like 9 months before an event, the risk of like overtraining, getting strains, injuries, and fatigue is quite high.
Yeah.
So that you're in that sweet spot now where the 3 month period I think is really good. I think fitness wise you've got it covered anyway, but then it's about the experiences.
Yeah.
So the night hike's really important, I think, for if you're going to do Killy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jerome said, doing some longer days with a heavier pack makes a big difference as well. Awesome. And guys, if you have any questions for me, Jody, or anything you want to share, don't hesitate to drop us a message. Anthony Christian said, try Mountain Fuel. They do some good products, energy gels, flapjacks, nighttime recovery hot chocolate.
Sounds good. I'm a hot chocolate now.
That is amazing, yeah. And breakfast, ready breakfast with water, additives, etc. Mountain Fuel. I'm going to check them out because they're good.
I'm going to write that down.
Make a note, Jody. That's awesome. Sophie Hurst said, peanut Cliff bars are so yummy. Mine don't even make it to Nepal, most of them. Yeah. We're very lucky to have a partnership with Cliff as well. So we get, I think I've eaten more Cliff bars in the last 6 months because there's a big box of them out there. So every time I get a bit hungry, I just go and grab them.
What's your favourite?
What, my favourite energy bar? Mars bar?
Is it?
Yeah. Like I'm not a huge fan, I'll be honest with you, of like protein bars and stuff like that. My favorite, actually, there's a bar called Trek.
I think I've had one.
Yeah, and I think they're really good because they're good for like vegans and gluten-free perhaps. But they're called Trek bars. They're really nice. And I'm not like, I don't have any dietary requirements at all. I'll eat anything, but one time someone gave me one. It was like a mixed berry one.
Yeah.
I think it was mixed berry or red berry. Anyway, it was a berry Trek bar. Beautiful. So if I am going to bring one, I'll bring one of them.
Yeah.
Flapjacks as well. They're really good. Honestly, they're amazing. Highly recommend Trek. Other than Cliff as well, I'd probably, it's just Mars bars and things.
Yeah.
Like,
do they go funny on the track?
No. They might get a bit cold if it's really cold, but that's okay. It was funny because I did winter training, and the guy that was doing the winter training with us was drinking like hot squash and Mars bars.
I love a hot squash.
Love a hot squash. You know what's great about hot squash is that when it goes cold, you haven't got cold tea or coffee in your glass. You've got squash. It's great. Squash. So yeah, hot squash is good. But when I was doing it, the guy told me, he was eating like a white bread jam sandwich and stuff like that, and I was like, do you not like gels or like the flapjacks or the energy bars and stuff? And he was like, oh.
Yeah, jam bagels are the ones that are running as well. Yeah, apparently, yeah.
He literally says that like the most important food that you can eat on the mountain is stuff that you will actually eat and enjoy. Because a lot of the time, mindset plays a big thing into it.
Definitely.
And if I get grumpy or annoyed, it's almost always because I haven't eaten properly.
Yeah.
And having something that like lifts your mood, massive.
Yeah.
So but the Trek ones are really good. Jerome was saying, take sachets of your favorite porridge. Tanzanian porridge looks and tastes like wallpaper paste. He's got a good point.
Yeah.
I will say that our guys provided a mixture of both like proper Scottish porridge and their local porridge, which I think is banana porridge. That stuff I couldn't eat. It's too weird. But it didn't taste like banana. It's different. Where the normal porridge is delicious. It's just like porridge.
Yeah.
And then we all, you get provided like teas, coffees, tons and tons of stuff like chicken and chips and so on, all the sort of normal stuff.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people do say like, what about more the local stuff? Now, there's loads of opportunity to eat that, but on the mountain, the guides and their experience know they're giving people food they're familiar with.
Yeah.
Means they're more likely to eat it.
Yeah.
Amy Theakson says, I love Trek bars. Raspberry Trek bars are lovely. That might be it, Also, caramel, peanut butter, lemon, and dark chocolate flavors available in all good supermarkets. I have a funny feeling that Amy works for Trek bars because
she's got commission.
Yeah, that is amazing. Sophie Hurst has asked, do we not eat vegetarian on Kili? No. Well, unless you're a vegetarian. But yeah, I see what you mean with Nepal and stuff like that. We recommend a vegetarian diet. That's because a lot of the places that actually cook the food on Nepal, they don't use like gas ovens and things like that. It's all cooked at high altitude using materials like they got the yak poo things that they burn, and it doesn't burn very well, so stuff tends to not get cooked very well. Also, these tea houses are permanent fixtures, so all the food is left there and it's stored there. Power outages mean they're not always kept refrigerated or frozen, so then that can have problems. With Kili, we bring everything with us for the time that we need, and it's all sort of either like pre-cooked or cooked on site using gas and things like that. So it's all completely safe. Yeah, amazing.
There's a lot of snack accidents.
Snackcidents? What's a snackcident, do you reckon? Is that when you bought something and it's like really, really terrible?
No, I would say I don't know actually. Is there more that, you shouldn't be in the snack, but it's a snack accident?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah. I like it anyway, a snackcident. Sophie said that's awesome. She missed the protein. Yeah, no, so I honestly, with Nepal, I've started taking like sachets of beef jerky and stuff like that with me just so I can get protein and eat some meat and stuff like that. Like, some people don't like beef jerky, but they're just odd.
I'm not a big fan. So.
As I said. Yeah, so awesome. Let's have a good look here. So Anthony Christian says mountain food. Also, he's provided the link.
Oh, yeah.
I got this pack before my ultra across the Lake District. He's done an ultra. Didn't you do an ultra?
I've never done an ultra, no.
Do you reckon you're gonna?
See, this is the thing. When I started, that's all I wanted to do was run a 5K. Okay, and then I was like 10K, and then I was like, I'd never do a marathon, never in a million years. And then all of a sudden it was half. Then I was booked in for a marathon, and now I'm like, no, still no at the minute, but I'm not going to say never. It'll probably happen.
Shall I tell everyone that you're going to do the Everest Marathon next year?
That's not it.
That's the thing. You and your friend from the running club are going to do the Everest Marathon?
Maybe. I said maybe.
I've already spoken to the team about it.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. So yeah, anyone wants to do the Everest Marathon next year?
2025.
Is it 2025? Yeah, Everest Marathon 2025. Yeah, let's get a group together. Let's get a team together. You can lead it.
I can't wait. Yeah.
You can lead them. Awesome. I've noticed a question here from Richard Johnson. What about a balaclava for summit night? I'm generally a warm person, but worried, but wondered what my thoughts are. I'm not entirely sure balaclava is needed.
You've got your bath 7 years to put it up if you need to. You've got your hat.
Yeah.
I guess if you prefer balaclava, it doesn't really
I guess so, yeah. I don't think if you're a cold person and you really suffer with the cold, then I think a balaclava is important.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've never used one on any of the treks that I've been on because once you've got your buff, your beanie, and stuff like that, I've never really noticed the need for it. Stuart Taylor's going to join you.
He's going to join you.
Yeah. So Anthony Christian said, highly recommend the Lap Windermere. The views are breathtaking. So yeah. So weirdly, you've now signed up for the Lake District Ultra.
I'm doing all sorts. Yeah. I'm supposed to
Awesome.
be doing Snowdon Marathon after Kilimanjaro. So yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah.
That should be good then. You'd have trained at altitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. See you feel when you go back.
It'll be very busy October. I've got the Cardiff Half, Kilimanjaro, and then Snowdon Marathon.
You're doing the Cardiff Half beforehand.
Before.
How soon before?
That's at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Kili's in the middle.
Yeah.
And then.
That's a hell of an October.
I know.
Yeah. You're going to enjoy Christmas.
I'm gonna
You're going to have Christmas
chill
off.
out then, yeah.
Yeah, have it totally off. Yeah, awesome. Are you going to take Zach with you as well?
For the marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
'cause
sign him up. If
Zach-
I'm signing up for Everest, he can sign up for the Snowdon Marathon, surely.
Easy work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it'll be amazing. I tell you, I'm excited. I really want to go there with you. I'll do the trek with you, but I'll be walking back.
I think we can get you, you'll get in the gym, do a bit of running, and then we can get you doing it as well.
I don't think I don't know.
You know, at that midlife crisis part, yeah, where you need to do a marathon.
That passed. That passed. I mean, my issue is the knee. I did like running. I've said it before that I loved running.
You have got to be careful.
When I was able to run 5K and 10K, that was my favorite. I never got bored.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I don't think I've ever been as fit as I was as when I could consistently do that. It only took half an hour to run 5K, so you could get one a day easy.
Yeah.
But then now, I don't know, I'm heavier, the knee doesn't work, and it's so miserable to start again. Like when I first started, I didn't know what it felt like to be able to run, so the misery was all I was used to.
Yeah.
Now when I try, I remembered what I used to be like when I could run well.
Yeah.
and I'm back in the misery again.
Just do a couple of park runs or something. Just get back into it slowly. People walk the park runs as well. You don't have to full on run them.
Yeah.
For now, and then just slowly.
Just
get back
what are they,
into
5Ks?
5Ks. They do them all over the place. You can do different ones.
I'd love to try a 5K again. The thing is, I think I could do it. I'd just be very, very slow, and it would seem like really difficult. The speed is something that I always tell people this, you know, and I understand, and I really do empathise with people when they message in and they worry about how slow they walk. And I always tell them that it doesn't matter how slow you walk; you can just go and enjoy yourself. And then when we talk about things like running or riding a bike, and I tell people, oh, I don't know if I should go, man, I'll just hold people up. And they go, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, this is how it feels. The disbelief. Like, I hear you telling me it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter, no.
People do walk it, completely walk all the whole thing. So it's not, you know, it's more of a social event again. You said that you wanted to do social things, so.
Yeah, I think that does help. Like going and having someone to go to the gym with.
Yeah.
Having someone to ride a bike with, it always makes it a lot easier to get up and actually do it. But yeah, no, I've okay, I might do it.
Yeah, we'll go together if you want.
It feels, didn't expect you to say that. Now I'm like being forced to commit. Yeah, awesome. Talking about trip prep and training as well. One thing we should mention is that we do still have spaces on the training weekends. Which I think are in August and October. So yeah, if you do want to come and join and you want to learn anything and everything you need to know about the trip you want to go on, the trip you booked on, then honestly, there's such a good opportunity to do it. We spend a couple of days in and around the Brecon Beacons being led by a professional team of mountain guides, and we can talk about all things that you need, you know, to know about. So basically everything we talked about today and more. And you get to go hiking, and you go for a Nepalese meal and have a few beers. So, yeah, maybe Vicky can drop us a little message in there as well. It'd be awesome. And yeah, don't forget as well. Scroll back to the beginning, and you can enter the competition.
Next Tuesday that we announce the winner.
Is it a week today? Awesome. Yeah, so we'll be announcing the winner on the Tuesday tune-in a week from today. Laura Collins has said bouldering is so much fun and amazing for building core strength and overall muscle strength, plus the social side of it as well. Have you ever done bouldering or rock climbing?
I've had a little go. A little while ago now. But yeah, I'd be up for trying it again. Yeah. We should do a little social maybe.
That's what we should do, like a climbing day or something like that. I would love to get more into it and stuff like that, because I think it's the climbing stuff, like any climber I've ever met who's like been doing it a long time is seriously strong and seriously like fit and powerful. So it would be great to do that. But I don't know, I've always been more drawn to like using gravity as my friend and not my enemy. You know, so like downhill mountain biking, gravity's like your friend.
Yeah.
But when you're bouldering and climbing, like you're trying to fight against gravity, and it's not always that easy.
Yeah. No, it was good. I have only been once, but it was really good when I tried before. You do get to a point, well, I did get to a point where I got a little bit higher than I thought I could, and then I was like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
This is me now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Anthony said he lives to climb. Rock climbing is his passion. That's you know what? It's funny. Like I've got a friend who goes rock climbing, and I think I'm maybe the equivalent to him, but with like hiking and biking, because I can't really engage in a conversation with him for more than a few minutes before he talks about rock climbing.
It's like me with running, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then anytime you go anywhere with him, you know, if we're driving, he'll be like, "Oh, climb that wall," or he'll be like, "Oh, that looks good to climb. Can we pull over a second, have a look at it?" It's literally like that, It's ridiculous. But awesome, yeah, guys. Hopefully you found today to be a little bit helpful. I think it's really good to get people on here who are due to go on a trip. I get to do this, you know. Any final thoughts? This is it. You never know it's coming, and Andy gets me every time.
No, I haven't got anything that as profound as you usually say. But I don't know, I'm just really excited now to get started with my training, up in the training a bit, getting the gear together. I'm hoping to join you on one of the the training weekend as well, the August one.
August one, yeah, height of summer. So bring
Yeah,
your
so-
waterproofs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, awesome guys. Yeah, I mean it's really good. I mean, honestly, there's things that I never even really think about. Like one of the things you said then earlier about when you start in training, so when you've not done anything and you're in perhaps unfit and you don't leave the house. Just taking that leap of courage and joining something like a club or an association that does a sport that you're interested in.
Yeah. They're so friendly as well. You think that everyone's sort of like athletes and you can't join because of that, but
Yeah.
everyone, you know, they want people to join, and they're so helpful.
Yeah, because that's what I've always worried about. Is I see the running clubs on the side of the road, and they're all prepped. They all seem to know each other, and I'd always be a bit like walking up on day one, like, hi, I'm new. But I'm sure it's like really nice.
Yeah,
And actually, I think that's today's top tip. I think that if you do want to sort of start the physical preparation for a trip, you know, joining some form of association or club or hiking group or running club or cycling group, whatever it is, I think can really set you on the right track. Awesome. Nice one. Well, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week where we're going to announce the winner of the competition. Always exciting. Yeah. Until then, what did Jerry Spring used to say? Take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye.
And there we click end.